It's been about 2 months since my last video. Apologies for that. But it's been 1 month since I got back from the Chico photo review in Montana. It was the first critique or photo review or photo retreat, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever been to. First time I had to sit down and talk about my work, get feedback on my work, get criticism, hear everyone's thoughts on it. So getting there, I was incredibly nervous. The first day that I showed up, I met my roommate Quinn. I did not spring for a individual cabin, so I was in the lodge and I was in a twin bed, and me and Quinn's feet were like this the whole time, which made for some very good bonding moments. But by the time that I got done after the whole week, he was probably one of my best friends there, and we just talked a lot. The whole experience was pretty surreal. The first day that I got there, I walked up the stairs to my room and Todd Hido passed me. And that was probably the first of many surreal experiences that I had there. But seeing people like that and passing people in the hallway and seeing people at dinner and the bar, it just made you realize that these people that you look up to, these godlike figures in photography, are nothing more than human beings themselves. And sitting down and just talking with them and chatting with them and passing them, it just brought a whole new human element to them. And it made whatever they did in photography seem achievable, which I thought was really special. But that was my first day. The first day is a travel day. You just chill a little bit, go to dinner. And then every day in the morning hours, you'd have two speakers and they would talk about their photography, talk about their process. And then there'd be a Q&A for 15 to 20 minutes after that. And then you would get a little bit of a break, go to lunch, and then you would have your portfolio reviews. And this was what was very new to me. Like I said, I had never had anyone critique my work before, aside from close friends. Critiques would take place from 1 to 4, and you would have anywhere from 2 to 4 per day. And they were 20 minutes apiece. So it's super quick, but you're able to get in a lot of feedback and a lot of information in those 20 minutes. As long as you have questions and notes and things that are relating to that particular photographer, because there's gallerists there, there's curators there, there's photographers, there's bookmakers, so you kind of have to have questions specifically for that type of person. A lot of the feedback that I got was really good, and it was nice to hear people of that stature talking about my work so positively, because you guys know that I'm a little bit, I don't have that much confidence and I kind of think I suck all the time. So hearing people say nice things about my work was honestly all that I needed in order to continue pushing through and working on this project. But a lot of the critiques that I got were around making more work in general, because I tend to shoot very little with 4x5. The cost of 4x5, the process is slow, so I tend to not shoot that much. But a lot of the feedback that I got was shoot more, shoot a lot more. Not only that, but don't look at the work for a while and see what you have at the end of it all. So I'm focusing on doing that now. Some other criticism that I got was there was some repeating elements, things like portraits of old men. It'd be like 4 portraits of old men, and they're like, all these pictures look the same, so why do you have 4 pictures of old men? And repeating things like that, old car, photograph of old man, photograph of old man. It gets to be very repetitive. So a lot of people were saying that I need to build out the world a little bit more, which I do agree with. Take more landscapes, more still life photos, garages, things like that. Photograph more of the Midwest in general. And don't be so strict about making sure that it's all about classic cars and all about car culture and things like that. So hearing that was very liberating, and it's nice to know that the work was good, because I doubt myself a lot. And hearing people like Baldwin Lee said that the portrait of Bob that I took was the best portrait that he saw all week. And then Brian Scootmont said the portrait of Travis was the best portrait that he saw all week. So hearing that from people that you look up to and people that you want to be like one day is just very cool. So that was the first 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday we had a free day. And throughout this, I was meeting a lot of people, having a lot of conversations with people, but two people that I really connected with were Vince and John. And we decided on Thursday that we would go out to Butte. And part of the reason was we wanted to go to the hotel that Robert Frank took his infamous picture outside the hotel window. So we left around 6 a.m. It was super snowy. It took us around 2 hours to get out there. And as soon as we got there, we saw the hotel. I wanted to take a photo that wasn't exactly super cliche, I guess. And I took this first one, which I really liked. You can kind of see the hotel sign in the background, and then you can see these two cars. It was foggy, the light was pretty diffused, and it looked really good. And then I actually walked up the hill a little bit behind the hotel and took this second photo, which I really liked, with the grassy field in the foreground overlooking Butte, and then you can see the hotel sign as well. We walked around Butte a little bit. It was really cool. John and Vince are spectacular human beings. We had a blast just talking about photography and walking around. And by the time we got back, we were ready for dinner. And then inevitably, at the end of every night, we would find ourselves in the bar. And this is when all the fun conversations happen. And this is what makes this retreat or review so special, is that you get to interact with all the reviewers, all the speakers in a much more non-formal setting. And you can have a beer with Tim Carpenter. You can see Baldwin Lee playing darts, Brian Scootmont playing a shuffleboard. It's just very special to be in a group like that and to get feedback and talk with people and just talk about life and photography. And by the end of it, we had closed down the bar and we were outside on the porch just having a good time. I finally got to meet Kent Andreessen from South Africa, who's friends with Willie Sheepskin. It was just cool. We got our picture. Brian Scootmont got his hair braided, and then he signed my chest. And it's gone now, but it was the crowning moment of my time at Chico. I've also been doing quite a bit of different assignment work recently, which is very fortunate for me. I didn't think that it would be coming so quickly at some points. I know I had a big long break for a couple months and didn't have anything, and then the last month I've done 4. The first one that I did was for the New York Times, and it was about a watchmaker in Quincy, Illinois. And for this one, I didn't take any film with me. I wanted to do it all on digital because the turnaround time was very quick. And I quite liked the photos that I took. Most of these were taken on a 35mm lens. And then I experimented a little bit with close-up shots using my macro lens that I use to scan film in order to get some intricate details of the watch and watch pieces. One thing that I learned from this particular assignment is focusing more on the background when it comes to portraits. And as you can see with this one, this was the first portrait that I took. Backlight is not very good right here. And you can see with the Pro Mist filter that I have, it's glowing pretty bright and looks like the windows are blown out. So after that, I actually moved to the complete 180-degree opposite and positioned him on the staircase with the background being pretty dim and him only being lit by the window light that you saw in the last photo. And the portrait turned out a lot nicer. So in the future, I'm definitely focusing more on the background. And even if I'm shooting wide open and you can't see the background, focusing on the quality of the light and placing people where they look the best without having distracting elements in the background. The next one that I did was for the New York Times as well, and it was a story about nuns. And so this was, again, a quick turnaround, but I decided to do film this time. And that was my first big mistake because I shot color as well as black and white. And you guys know how I am with color processing. It's always terrible. And then I always have to edit it and try to fix everything. So that happened again. And I quite liked the portraits on the inside. Again, only lit by window light, super soft light, looked good. And then we moved outside and took some portraits as well. And they ended up using this color portrait that I took on 4x5 for the actual story. The next one that I did was a assignment for NBC. And it was a story about a library and a church going to battle about banning books, which is always a good thing, banning books. But it was in Metropolis, which is the home of Superman. And for this, it was a little more spread out. The turnaround wasn't as quick, so I could use film and digital. And this was also the first time that they were going to pay for me to use film, which was nice. So I bought a pack of 4x5 HP5 because I didn't know if I was going to be inside or outside for the majority of stuff. And I really liked the photos that I took for this story. It was very nice to combine digital and film, and I actually liked a lot of the color shots that I took on digital. It gave me a newfound confidence in using both of them and combining the two, because I'm to the point now where I got my 4x5 process down pretty well, and then my digital is getting better, but I want to be better about using the same process as I do with film as digital. So slowing down a little bit more, focusing on the composition, focusing on the subject, taking my time. That's one of the benefits of 4x5 is when I'm setting it up, putting the lens on, getting the front standard ready, I'm talking with the person. So maybe in the future when I'm using digital, just go about it a little more slowly. Don't whip my camera out so fast and start taking portraits. Just set my bag down, have a conversation, let the person relax a little bit, and then get into making the work. And the last assignment that I did was again for the New York Times, and this was a portrait session with the mayor of St. Charles. We started in his office and we used the window light. Again, using natural light, turning off all the artificial lights, using natural light when I can. Shot these two on 4x5. And you can see the difference between digital on the left and large format film on the right. Whenever you shoot wide open with digital, you have no front standard to use movements, so one eye is going to be out of focus unless you stop down. On the right, you have the large format film, and you're able to shoot wide open and get that large format look while using a little bit of swing on the front standard to get both eyes in focus. So that has been my last couple assignments. Again, very lucky that I'm getting work like this, and it's learning as I go, just taking it all in and trying to make everyone a different learning experience. I wanted to end with some notes that I wrote down from Chico that really spoke to me, and some of the things that I left with that I think you guys would appreciate. But here we go. Compose from the edges. Kick the tripod. Become someone, not something. Put it in their reach, not in their lap. And then the last one that really spoke to me. The heart lives by breaking. That's how the light gets in. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry if it was a little long, But if you have any questions about Chico, about portfolio reviews, about assignment work, just let me know. Drop a comment, drop a like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.